And now let's try and tune in to no good music from an undisclosed location somewhere in New Jersey. Bon Jovi's new album marks a new low point for the band.
Oh, I thought that was back in 91.
And then his glasses would come off and he'd be like, I'm sexy.
People love music, and musicians love musicians.
I just cried my eyes out because I was so honored. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I thought I would hear just a little, like, you know.
Yeah.
I just was looking at it from the standpoint of, can you imagine him drumming for, with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. He's going.
So where is the puppet? Like, who has the puppet?
So, I don't know if it's alive or not.
Yeah, where is he?
Hey everybody, this is Rob.
And this is Jeremy.
Jeremy, you sound a little different today.
I probably look a little different too.
Yeah. So I have a guest co-host today. Jeremy, can we say your last name?
Sure.
Jeremy Hirsch. And thank you for coming here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So yeah, I know two Jeremys. I only know two, I think, besides, the famous Jeremys.
Actually, I think when I was growing up in high school, we had 3 Jeremys at one point, which is kind of like,
oh yeah,
wow. I don't think there were that many Johns even.
So Jeremy, I met through him through Xander Goldman, who did a movie, was it 2 years ago?
Yes, yeah, a little over 2 years ago.
Macabre Mountain. Jeremy's in that movie, and he doesn't live for too long in that movie. It's a horror movie. But
I have a brief appearance.
Yeah. So tell us about, you have a movie company.
Yes.
Or production company.
Yes, Stag Mountain Films.
Mm-hmm.
And, mainly, I would say investing in and helping to produce low-budget independent films, most of them horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, fun things.
Yeah.
Fun movies that you enjoy watching and get a kick out of.
Yeah, and there's one that's going to be filming in May with Xander Goldman's Crimson Harvest.
Yes, Crimson with a Z.
Yeah. And you want to go on Indie, INDIE, gogo.com.
Yep.
And if you want to help in any way, you can donate from, $5 to $5,000.
Yeah, there's all kinds of great perks available. Buying CD, buying a poster, getting a role in the film, acting with Felissa Rose, one of the all-time great scream queens
From Sleepaway Camp.
Yep. And she was in Terrifier 2 and 150 other
Macabre
movies.
Mountain.
And Macabre Mountain.
Will she be in Crimson Harvest?
She will be in Crimson Harvest. Robert Mukes will be in, from House of a Thousand Corpses with Rob Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
He is, I think, one of the tallest actors in Hollywood. He's 6'10".
Oh, okay.
He's a big guy, but very nice. A lot of fun to work with.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who caused my demise in Macabre Mountain.
Yeah, check out Macabre Mountain. It's probably on Tubi and the streaming services.
It is on all those. Yep.
Yeah. And so Crimson Harvest, you're going to be in the movie?
I'm going to be in the movie.
Okay. I'm supposed to be in the movie.
All right.
I've never acted in my life, but...
So I had never acted before Macabre Mountain, and here I am.
You didn't have any lines, right? You were just...
No, I did. I had a couple of quick lines.
Yeah.
I looking around, I'm like, what's that noise? Who the hell is that?
That's what I'd want to do, yeah.
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 I mean, it was relatively quick and easy. I got very bloody, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And we might be in Jeremy and I might be background extras in a movie. I don't know what the movie is or the title, but Sean Whalen from Twister and People Under the Stairs, and Rebecca Kennedy. She's been in a lot of horror films.
Yep.
They're doing a movie together, and I think Sean's wife is also maybe the writer, one of the writers, and that's filming, believe it or not, like 30 minutes from me, Reddington Township. And Sean lives in California, and so does Rebecca, so I was like,
yeah, it's pretty great that they're going to be so close by.
Yeah. So this is a little intro to Jeremy, because if this works out, maybe Jeremy will fill in when we're going to call him Jeremy 2 or Jeremy H. I don't know. And the other one, Jeremy D. Right? JD, JH.
It's like thing 1 and thing 2.
See, JD sounds, we don't want to get into that, but JH, I don't know, JD kind of flows more than JH.
It does.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
So music, before we get into the actual show, because we do have a couple things we're going to talk about today, and we want to kind of start with a new song, but I wanted this to be an intro, so you get to know Jeremy a little bit. But as far as music, do you go to a lot of? I used to go to a lot of concerts up until like last year, because I have this hearing, not that this is about me, but that I have this, over the past years, I've had this hearing problem. I had radiation in my ear. I have ringing in my ear. So I've been trying not to go to, the bigger concerts, just the noise,
yep.
the people, as you get older too. But
absolutely.
So are you a concert goer, or like, what was the last concert you went to?
So the last concert I went to was actually, I'm just making sure, it was Judas Priest.
Okay.
I think it was
1978.
No. No, last March or April I went, and we were second row. And I have to say, it was the first time, maybe the second time, I brought earplugs, but the first time I really kind of had them in there. It's because the same sort of thing. I'm getting older, and I don't want to kill my hearing any more than it already is. Yeah. And so I kind of had the earplugs in there a little bit. Certain songs I take them out. It does not ruin your enjoyment of the concert. You still hear things, and I was certainly not the only one with earplugs in. I was glad to see that. Yeah,
you kind of. I think when we were younger, we probably was. I don't want to be seen with earplugs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You didn't.
It's like an old person thing. Maybe.
You'd be embarrassed to wear earplugs. Yeah. Now it's. Yeah.
But isn't it amazing when you take the earplug out how loud it is compared? I did that with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We went to see them at Citibank, where the Phillies play, and we were like 10th row. And when my wife was next to me, if she had to tell me something, or I took the earplug out, and I couldn't believe how loud it was. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they make a difference, but it's good. I actually have a cousin. I'm not going to embarrass him by saying his name, but he's younger than I am, and he's got hearing loss in an ear from a concert.
Yeah.
And so it's really important.
My wife has that too. Yeah. She was at a Ramones show many years ago, and she got pushed up against a speaker.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Luckily, it's amazing she can hear out of that ear. Yeah. That was at City Gardens.
The concerts are loud, and, even the musicians themselves wear earplugs and things to dull the sound a little bit for them, because they can't be up there all night, every night playing. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the movie we went to recently, and it was just so loud. What was the movie we went to? I can't remember.
You go to movies?
Yeah.
Not just sit at home and stream it?
So we're going to start with our regular, we have one of our regular segment, Give It a Listen. And this is a person that Matt and I had interviewed. Let's see if I have it here. Back in June 2023. And his name is Jesse Daniel Edwards. And I like his voice. It's kind of like Freddie Mercury and, Justin Hawkins. You know him from The Darkness?
Oh, okay.
Kind of that sound. And what he did was I think he has 3 or 4 albums, and he's putting out an album of previously released songs, but he re-recorded them with just piano, where the other ones are a little bit more, with guitar and, more instruments. So we're going to listen, let's see. This first song is, I think I have the wrong song title here. I don't know why. I always do this. Jeremy, get used to this.
It's Jeremy 2.
Yeah, Jeremy 2. I think it's called, this is bad, Nobody's Got Me. I think it's Nobody's Got Me But Me. Forgive me, Jesse, Daniel Edwards, for messing up the title. I think I had this other song in here before, but okay. So we're going to listen.
If it's the one I listened to the other day, I think it's Nobody's Got Me.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a little snippet of this song, and we'll be back, and I'll talk a little bit more about this.
I like a voice in the dark, simple things like Sunday walks in sunny parks. After all, isn't that what we're all after? I get dressed and go to school, I get dressed and go to work. I've done it all so well by myself so far. She's got him and he's got her. Everyone's got someone, everyone but me. Nobody's got me. I want a hand in my...
Okay. So you can hear kind of that sound like there was another artist, my brain is gone. There's another artist that sounded like Freddie Mercury that sounds like, he sounds like him, but
well, and it's interesting because when I listened to the song the other day, and I thought, okay, this sounds nice, but I hadn't picked up on that Freddie Mercury sound, and now that I'm hearing it and you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, wow, why didn't I go right to that? Because you're right, he's got that same kind of sound.
So this is it's a self-titled album, and it's going to be out February 21st. And I like this record company name, Cavity Search Records. Their album was recorded live on a 2-track tape by Scott McEwen at Memphis Magnetic Recording Company in April 2024. And it features Jesse on a Chickering grand piano. I never heard of Chickering. And this marks a new chapter in Edwards' evolving artistic journey, offering an intimate, raw portrayal of his musical and emotional world. Performed, recorded, and manufactured in Memphis, the album features just Edwards and his piano, and it's a pared-down approach that contrasts with the more elaborate rock-drawn sounds of his previous works. And he describes the album as reflective review, one that revisits moments from the past with both nostalgia and clarity. And let's see here. So there's a photo that his publicist sent me, and it looks like he's sitting at a table. His piano's behind him, and there are guitars on the wall, and there's a King Kong figure with a Post-it on it. If any of that means anything. But I'm learning that Jesse is not a fan of shirts. He's shirtless in the promo photo, and actually also on the album cover. And for our listeners, you might remember, like I mentioned earlier, his name because we interviewed him in June of 2023. I think we might have put video up on YouTube, but he was, and I have to say, it wasn't the best interview because he was poolside. We've interviewed people that are outside. Like I remember Butch Patrick was in his car he was just pulling up to his house, and we had to wait till he got inside. Dana Fuchs, we interviewed, blues artist. She was outside. Her son was at a birthday party, and she was
Nice.
she was outside, and so he was poolside, and which wasn't the best audio because there's other people there.
Oh, so it's not even like a private pool. It's
Like
just
a party's going on or something.
Wow. And shirtless.
Yeah. So I can't wait to listen to the rest of this album because I like his voice. I think he's, I think he's got great and his lyrics are interesting. Some of his other songs. So look for the album February 21st. You can go to JesseDanielEdwards.com. And I want to thank Alex at In Music We Trust for giving us permission to play part of the song before it's even released. So
Awesome. Thank you.
And so next up, we got some music news. So we will be back in a minute. Okay, so I have some music news stories. And probably by the time you listen to this will be an old story. That Ringo Starr, he made an appearance on January 28th to promote his new country album. Yes, country album.
Country album.
Yeah, everybody's doing country now. It's his second country album. He put one out, I think, in the 70s. It's called Look Up. I just want to call it Look Out. Look Out for Ringo. I think he was on Jimmy Kimmel, I want to say. But he made a statement that shocked the world. And he said he has never eaten pizza before.
What? How's that possible?
And I think he's lying. I really do. But I did do a little research, and he does have some allergies, maybe to the dough or the ingredients.
He's got like a gluten allergy or cheese allergy.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
But he even went as far to say that you don't exactly know what is in pizza. Now, come on. I think we do.
I mean, there's dough and cheese and sauce. I mean, that's at its basic.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a hot dog,
Okay.
right? We don't know what's in a hot dog. Yeah, I have here, it's flour, water, yeast, olive oil. That's the dough. Sauce is water, tomato paste, a lot of olive oil. Maybe he's allergic to olive oil. And some spices. Mozzarella is cow's milk, citric acid, maybe goat's milk.
I mean, even with sauce, you can just do tomato, water. You just boil it down. I mean, really simple sauce. A little bit of sugar.
Yeah. Well, Matt doesn't like tomatoes. He won't eat tomatoes, but he'll eat pizza. He just doesn't like whatever the consistency
of the tomato.
Yeah,
so tomato sauce and probably ketchup is probably okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, ironically, do you remember? I kind of remember this, and I went on YouTube to spark my memory. But Ringo did a Pizza Hut commercial.
Oh gosh, I don't remember that.
And it was with the Monkees.
Oh wow!
It was with Mickey, Peter, and Davey.
The time has come to eat our pizza. Crust first.
Yeah, crust
Wow.
first. I guess it was for a stuffed crust.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's real. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about stuffed crusts.
Yeah. So it was Jimmy Kimmel, because Jimmy Kimmel said jokingly, "I used to think you had the greatest life, and now I realize mine is better." And Ringo replied, "Yours is better because you had a pizza." That's my really bad Ringo.
That's not bad at all.
He is a vegetarian. I don't know when he became a vegetarian, but I don't know. Now, my dad did not, you're going to think this is odd, but my dad did not like cheese, any cheese. My dad would not eat cheese.
Okay.
But if we put cheese in something, we didn't tell him. He just didn't know. He would never eat pizza. I never saw him eat pizza, my dad.
Wow. Not even like, what about like a cheeseless pizza or something? You'd have just sauce? No.
Nah. Now, you had a story about Toto. I don't know if you want to tell, or a little thing about the song Africa.
Oh, that...
Tonight the moon will be full here. I haven't much time.
That was from the song. That's an outtake.
Yeah, so it was a... oh, wait.
Yeah, the meaning behind the song.
The meaning behind the song. Somebody, and this is not me. This was, I guess, taken from maybe Twitter, which I guess is called X now, but I think this was Twitter back then a few years ago.
People still call it Twitter.
And it was, I guess, the lines, gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. So the guy says, so why is the singer not with her now? And then says, why
he's got superpowers. He's like, because 100 men. Yeah, couldn't drag him away.
It's like Superman.
Yeah.
So why is the speaker in Africa in first place? And the answer is he's, quote, hoping to find some long forgotten words or ancient melodies. So basically this person who posted this said he's a student of the occult.
Okay.
It's a long forgotten words, ancient melodies. That's occult. So why has the singer of Africa gone to Africa, leaving his love in order to hunt up obscure folklore? Well, the answer is, he tells you, I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've become. Mm-hmm. Simply put, he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious when you read this, you go, oh my goodness. And then wild dogs cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. Those aren't dogs.
Yeah.
Why does he bless the rains down in Africa? Simple. Because the cloud cover blocks the moon.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
right there,
has to be it.
You will never listen to Toto's Africa the same way.
I was going to say that. I told my wife. I think she's starting to believe it. But no, it's and you never know when someone is coming up with these songs. They could have started out with something, like a love romance, and turned it into, and see if anyone notices. I'm going to put these little hints in here. You never know.
What's the what's that Green Day song that everybody loves and everybody uses for like their prom song?
Time of My Life.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it is? Hope you have the time of your life, whatever. That's a very sarcastic song, I guess, and not meant at all to be like a love song or a happy song, and everybody uses it for that.
Yeah. So then I have a couple little stories here. Like I went on Kiss's website, or maybe I saw it on Facebook. I'm a big Kiss fan.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so they're selling Valentine's Day cards, believe it or not. And they have images of Ace and Peter.
Huh.
Not Tommy and Eric.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I'm trying not to read comments on social media anymore. It's just awful. Everybody's hates everybody, it seems. But
that's a good plan.
Yeah. And especially Kiss, anyone posts a picture of Ace and a Kiss, it's either, I don't know, they're calling him a alcoholic still. I'm worried though, because I'm seeing more and more comments about the concerts. I saw him a couple years ago, and he was pretty good, but they're claiming he's drinking again. Now
that's not good.
He was clean for, I don't know, 6, 8, maybe more years.
I think he's gone back and forth a lot over the years.
Yeah, and he never had a great speaking voice, and he kind of slurs his words, but so I don't know.
His first album, his first solo, Fraley's Comet,
Yeah.
I guess the one that came out like, what was that, like mid 80s or something like that, mid to late 80s, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the songs, I guess it was Rock Soldiers.
Okay.
All about, you know, drinking and driving, slipping and sliding, drinking and driving, bringing me closer to hell. See, I remember that lyric.
Yeah, okay.
You know, all about being, you know, drinking and being an alcoholic and smashing his DeLorean, I guess.
Yeah, him and Peter. Peter had, I think, more of a drug problem, maybe. So other news, we have Nirvana sort of reunites. I'm also a big Nirvana. I'm a big music fan, so. Yeah. And I don't know if this was for I think it was the concert to benefit the fires in LA. And we had Joan Jett came out and did a Nirvana song. Territorial Pissings, it's called. She did that song. Dave Grohl's daughter did a song. But people were talking, there's talk of them, like, doing not them talking, doing a tour, but other people. People talking about them doing a tour. Yeah, and I don't know. Because you had the bass player there, you had Dave Grohl, of course, the drummer, and Pat Smear was the unofficial member of Nirvana. He's in Foo Fighters. It'll never be the same. No, and who are you going to get to sing? And you're just going to be doing, it's just be a cover band, really. Yeah, when you lose a singer, some bands have continued. One, namely, a band I know is the Smithereens, continue with various singers. Like Robin Wilson from the Gin Blossoms. He's a good fit for the Smithereens. I've seen them a couple times. Also, with Nirvana, it's a band that really hasn't done anything for 30 years. Yeah. 25 years, however long it's been. And, if you've got a band like AC/DC, they lost their singer and picked up a new one, kept it going. But it's tough if you haven't done anything for a long time. Yeah, AC/DC, that's just an amazing thing. That, Back in Black. Yep. New singer and sold millions and millions, and they kept it going. And then I did watch the Grammys. I watched a little bit. I'm also, as I get older, I'm listening to more, I don't know why, more maybe mellow or maybe more pop stuff. You can hear my stomach. Was that your stomach or my? I heard something. You heard the garage door opening. I did listen to Sabrina Carpenter's album. I've actually listened to it like 3 or 4 times. Okay. Because it's pop, but the lyrics are they're sexual, but they're freaking hilarious too. If you really listen to it. I'll have to do that. Yeah. And then I listened to, everybody's talking about Chappell Roan. I didn't really like her album, I have to say. Some things aren't, you have to understand some things aren't for you to listen to. Yep. Amazingly, Taylor Swift won. She didn't win any Grammys. And Beyonce is now a certified country singer, I guess. The album. And I always think, to have an opinion on something, you really need to, like, whether it's a movie, TV show, or an album, you really need to watch it or listen to it so that you can have an opinion. Right. Some people don't. And they, I listened to the Beyonce's album, and it's not good. I mean, to me, it's not good. I haven't listened to it, so... And why do we need, I don't know how many songs are on there, 20 songs. That's my other pet peeve, is a lot of artists putting out albums that have, 15, 20 songs on it. When you could pick 8 really good ones, 10 really good ones, and have it be a really good album. So I've heard the theory about that, and I think my kids and stepkids have talked to me about this, and the artists, I guess the simple way of putting it is the artists put a lot of songs out there because they know, people are streaming it. It's not like, look, I still buy a CD. Yeah. But artists know that people are going to be streaming it, and so they get paid however much per however many streams and stuff. Yeah. So they'll do an album with 20 or 30 songs, and they know only 10 of them are good. But people are still going to stream those other 10 or 20 songs, and they get paid for that. So if you get, a million streams on each song, even if it's bad and everybody hates it, you still get paid for that. Well, that's how Taylor Swift at one point I think she had the top I want to say it was the top 12 songs. Maybe there was one in there that someone else had at like 1 or 2 weeks in there. Oh, and one last like news story is it's not really a music news story, but I have to say that. Do you know who my favorite actress is, Jeremy?
I would say Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp.
She's
and
one of my
Mountain.
favorites.
You know?
I'm going to give you some hints. This is the first one. Okay. Be prepared.
How would you touch me?
It's not a porn star.
I was like thinking,
here's another one.
Somebody put a bag of drugs inside me. I need you to take it out.
Is that Scarlett?
Yeah,
Is that ScarJo?
Scarlett Johansson.
Okay, I had to think for a second. Like, I know that voice.
So non-music, but I'm very excited. There is going to be another Jurassic Park movie, believe it or not.
Yes.
Called Rebirth, and she is in it. But she had always wanted to be in a Jurassic Park movie. She even had a meeting with Steven Spielberg years ago.
Wow.
And the one odd thing is that she claims that for a year, and I gotta do a little bit more research on this. She slept in a Jurassic Park tent. I don't know if it was in her apartment or when this was. Maybe when she was...
Maybe she was a kid?
Yeah, maybe she was a kid. I would assume.
That's awesome, though.
Not like...
That's hardcore.
2 years ago, and Colin Jost is, has to sleep in the bedroom. She sleeps.
Look, if that's what she wants to do, good for her.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, and let's see. Oh, we're going to talk about a documentary we both watched called Norman's Rare Guitars.
Good documentary.
Yeah, so we will be right back. Okay, we're back. So there's a new documentary. It premiered actually December 31st. I don't know how I missed it, but my friend Tim...
I didn't even realize it was that new.
Yeah, my friend Tim texts me. He watches a lot of music documentaries. And it's about owner Norman Harris and his very famous guitar store. It's in Tarzana, California. It's in the San Fernando Valley. And it's a really good documentary because I like the celebrity aspect of things, but it also includes like people that aren't so famous and just regular people they show going into the store. Now, even though it's rare guitars, I assume he also has regular lower price guitars. And then the documentary showed, we saw actors, also a couple non-actors like Kiefer Sutherland, Jeff Daniels, and but anyone from George Harrison to Post Malone are mentioned. They're shown with the owner, and apparently the owner is good friends with Frank Stallone.
Yes, right. He was in it a bit. And there's one's seen Frank Stallone in years, but, except in this documentary.
So there's an actual. I looked up the owner, and he's in one other thing, and he's in a documentary about Frank Stallone, which I may have to watch. It's from 2021. It's called Stallone, Frank. That is. But this documentary had some really. It didn't have a lot of great stories, I think. It's like, what's it, an hour and a half?
Yeah, like right around an hour and a half.
Yeah. I was more interested in how people start out, how they got to where they are. Even not knowing about this store or the owner, I still wanted to know how he got there, and they do tell that. It's very interesting, where he just started buying. I think he was in a band.
Yep. And
one of the bass players, I think they were renting a bass maybe or something for him. And he bought a bass, and it was kind of I don't know if it was a rare bass at the time, but maybe he got it for a good price, and but the person who wanted to buy, like, it got the interest of this really famous bass player, and it was Jacko, what's his name, Pastorius, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was something, he bought a bass guitar and then somebody was like, oh, that's worth, he bought it for inexpensive and somebody said, it's worth a lot more than that, and he sold it and then used the money to buy more guitars.
Yeah, Jocko, if I'm saying it right, Pastorius is a very, like, well, now he's very, like, legendary bass player. I think he passed away. He wasn't that old when he died. I think he died back in the 70s or 80s. Yeah, and that got him the idea that maybe I should start. And he started buying and selling guitars. And he knew he had a friend who owned, owned a guitar store, and called him up one day. And I don't know how long the drive was, but he indicated, I guess it was normal than, maybe it was an hour or two drive. I don't know. And he said, you got to get over here. I have someone that's looking for a certain guitar. And it happened to be George Harrison.
Yep.
And then Mal Evans, which was the tour manager, I think, for the Beatles, was with him. And then they go over to his apartment. It seemed he was living in an apartment and had guitars in the one bedroom.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was all because George had a guitar stolen from him. And he found the guitar, and the guy who bought the guitar, he wasn't the guy that stole it. He just bought it from like a pawn shop or a guitar shop. But he wanted to give it back to George. He wanted a guitar that was similar to that one.
Yeah, and I think, didn't George end up buying 2 guitars or something like that? He bought one to replace it, another one? He bought 2 other guitars, I think, yeah. But Norman, when he found out what kind of guitar George was looking for, he told him, I have 3 of those. So he actually knew, he actually had those for him. So, and now there's, in the documentary, they talk about this back room with these, I guess, really rare guitars. Yeah, like almost like a vault area.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny, Jeff Daniels, I think when he first walked in there, because Norman knew who he was, and Jeff Daniels, he's a well-known actor, but I don't think he's not worth, like millions and millions, I think. I mean, the way he indicated at the time, Norman took him in the back room and showed him this guitar. I think it was $40,000, $50,000.
Yep.
And he commented that, he made some money on his last movie, but he said he didn't even make that much to buy the guitar.
That's a lot of money for a guitar. I've got a couple of guitars, and I did not spend anywhere near $50,000.
Yeah.
50 maybe.
Yeah, I have 2 electric guitars. I have an Epiphone and a Fender Telecaster. And the Fender I bought maybe 5 years ago. And I have one, I have an acoustic. But the Fender I paid like $700-800 for, because I really want it. I'm not a guitar collector, because that's it. I got 3 guitars, and but even that guitar is, to get a Fender Telecaster, I think they're at $1,000-1,200.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a really. I enjoyed this documentary on, any kind of music documentary. And I told Matt about it, and he's going out there, I think, in the summer. And I have to tell him where, because he thought, if he's near there, he's going to, I guess he'll just stop in and not buy anything, probably.
I'd be afraid to go in there, because I'd be afraid I'd want to buy something, and I'd be like, all right, what's the cheapest guitar you have, just so I can buy one?
Yeah. But I think people might go there to kind of see if there's someone famous there. But I think it's one of those things with, like, restaurants, it's hit and miss. It's not like famous people are there all the time. And the other story was that I think it was an employee who was fairly new, and he saw two guys that were kind of disheveled he said pickups. They were looking at pickups, and they turned around, and it was Bob Dylan and Tom Petty.
Yep.
Yeah, just rifling,
just
looking through
there.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a good documentary. I really liked the passion everybody had. I mean, it was not just about guitars and the music, but it was just all these people had a certain passion for this. So it's almost like whatever they're passionate about, it could be about anything.
Yeah.
But they just happen to be really passionate about guitars, and it was just amazing hearing all these stories about everybody just all sharing this passion. I keep saying that word.
Yeah.
For one thing, and it was just guitars and old guitars and new guitars and guitars with different sounds and all of that. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I follow Joe Bonamassa. I don't know if you listen to Joe Bonamassa. He's
I know some of his stuff. Yeah,
incredible blues guitarist. But they show him, and he's sitting amongst all these amps, and that's not at the store. I can tell you, that's his house. He's just over collects.
I think he said he had like 400 guitars or something.
I thought he would have more than that. He's posted guitar. I don't know what kind of guitar it is, but it was a green guitar, and he has 4 of those in the same color. That's what I don't understand. I can understand collecting different colors or different types of guitar, but 4 of the same. That's like people who buy, because I collect vinyl, like 4 of the same album because it has it was manufactured in a different town. I don't know. I've seen a guy who collects Beatles albums. He has, I saw 20, 30 of the same albums, like all of them. Like, that's just a waste of money to me. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so check this out. Check out on Netflix, Norman's Rare Guitars.
It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I'd give it like an 8 if we were rating it. But so let's see what's next here. So to end the show, I have some music biographies coming out soon. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back again.
And what do you mean the end of the show?
This is the last segment for this show.
Wow. All right. That was fast.
We're doing another one.
All right.
Yeah. So I have a couple music biographies. First one is Heartbreaker, a memoir. Hardcover, comes out March 18th, 2025. Of course, this year. Mike Campbell, who is the guitarist, or was, for the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It's 464 pages, and it's $30 retail. And it's a fast-paced, tender-hearted rock and roll memoir for the ages. Mike Campbell's Heartbreaker is part rags to riches story, part raucous, if I said it right, seat of the pants adventure, recounting Campbell's life and times as lead guitarist of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So he was the lead guitarist for Tom Petty. I love Tom Petty, and that's one thing that I really, wish I had seen Tom Petty in concert.
Yeah. I never got to see him either. You always think, I'll catch him the next time around.
I know, so he was there from the band's inception in 1976 until Petty's says tragic death in 2017, which was a tragedy.
Yep.
Him not getting the surgery he needed, and we won't go into that, but that was awful. So together, Tom Petty and Mike Campbell wrote countless songs, including some of the band's biggest hits, of course, Refugee, Here Comes My Girl, You Got Lucky, Running Down a Dream. but few know of the less than glamorous background from which Campbell emerged. A hard-scrabble childhood. Never heard that. Hard-scrabble. I didn't write this. On the north side of Jacksonville, which is in Florida. Often just days ahead of homelessness, raised by a single mother struggling on minimum wage. And after months of saving, his mother bought him a $15 pawn shop acoustic guitar for his 16th birthday. And with a chord book and a transistor radio, Campbell painstakingly taught himself to play.
Good for him.
Yeah. And then chance encounter. There was a chance encounter where the guidance counselor inspired him to enroll in the University of Florida. And let's see. He moved into a rundown farmhouse in Gainesville where he met 20-year-old Tom Petty. And the rest is music history. So Mike Campbell, I was excited because there's a bookstore in Ridgewood, New Jersey. And they announced that Mike Campbell, I thought, was going to be there because I've been to a couple book signings there. And, all you do is you buy the book. You don't have to pay anything to meet, get a picture with. Last one I went to was Christina Ricci. She was there. That was a weird one because she had started early. Usually I get there and there's a line outside. And then you have to go through the bookstore and down into the base. Have you ever been there?
I've not.
Bookends, it's called. And then you go into the basement, and then you're in a snake line up to the table where they are. Well, I get there, nobody's outside. I'm like, I don't even think I thought that she canceled or anything. And I went up to the counter, got she had this it's sitting here, the tarot card thing. And she's like, oh, you can just go downstairs. There was like one person in front of me, and I guess something about she had to catch an early flight or something back to wherever she was going. But it was weird. I go down there as one person. I talk to her. I get a picture with her. And then I text my wife. I'm done already. I'm coming home. And it's an hour and a half drive.
Oh.
So it's like, drive there 2 minutes, 5 minutes. But anyway.
It's worth it, though.
So I was excited. I thought Mike Campbell was going to be... He's going to be somewhere, but not there. He's going to be at the Bergen Pack.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to be talking about the book. There's a guy, I think it's the guy that co-wrote the book with him or helped him. I want to say Ari Sertival. I'm not real sure, but I know there's a guy from Rolling Stone magazine that's going to be kind of like we're sitting here, you and I, talking. But there's no meet and greet. You get the book, but it's not even signed. He's not even...
So he's just kind of doing almost like
he's just selling books.
He's selling books, and it's like an interview, and you get to watch.
Yeah. And it's like $60, and I want to go, but I don't think I want to go. But,
do you get the book at least included in the $60?
Get the book.
All right, well, at least there's that.
Yeah. And then I have another book here. It's called Waiting on the Moon: Artists, Poets, Drifters, Grifters, and Goddesses. They fit that all on the book cover. March 11th, by Peter Wolf.
Oh.
It's 352 pages.
From Jay Giles?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So in the tradition of classic collections of observations and musings, such as Christopher Isherwood's I Am a Camera and Truman Capote's The Dog's Bark, Waiting on the Moon is a treasure trove of vignettes from a legendary musical figure whose career spans more than 6 decades and is still going strong. So Peter Wolf, he grew up in the Bronx. Child, it says, of fellow travelers whose artistic inclinations, that means they were gypsies, influenced both his love of music and his initial desire to become a painter. I didn't know he was a painter. I have the album here somewhere. Here it is.
Oh, there we
so
go.
If you look at the back cover, they're all have paint on them. So I don't know. But I didn't know he was an actual painter. So stories of his loving and sometimes eccentric parents complement scenes depicting a very young Bob Dylan as he arrived on the Greenwich Village folk scene. And this I just found out recently. It says reflections on Wolf's studies in Boston, where he shared an apartment with David Lynch.
Oh, that's an interesting connection.
Away. Yeah. They're braided with accounts of first love and untraditional literary education and early musical influences such as Muddy Waters. Told with gentle humor and often heart-rending poignancy, the word portraits in Waiting on the Moon provide a revealing glimpse of artists, writers, actors, and musicians as they work. Now, Peter Wolf is going to be at Bookends. He's actually, and I have tickets.
Well, that's nice.
March 13th. So I'll get to meet Peter Wolf, get the book, and it was like $35. And get
Sounds like a bargain.
Yeah. It's weird because there's a certain period of time in music where like 78, 79, 80, those years, I think this album Freeze Frame was probably in there. And I played the shit out of that. And
that's a classic album.
And the album before that, I might have bought later, which Love Stinks. I love that song. But, Centerfold, even the song Freeze Frame, and I just got this album. I couldn't believe I don't have it yet, but so I'm excited about meeting Peter Wolf. So thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.
We're doing a new thing besides a new guest or a guest host. I'm trying to do like maybe shorter shows, and that's that they're 2 hours long, and so
shorter and harder hitting.
Yeah. So Jeremy will be on the next one, which you'll probably hear. I don't know if I'll put these out at the same time or a week apart, but anyway, Jeremy be back.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
That's a good That's a good movie voice.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, in the movies, I always try to bring my voice down a little bit.
Yeah.
So that somebody's like, wait, that's what his voice really sounds like? No, it's like this.
So how many movies have you been in?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've done remote roles for a few, and there's quite a few that I've filmed over the last few years, like Alien Storm is going to be coming out within the next couple of months. That's with who's in that? Kevin Sorbo, Tom Arnold. I had a scene with Tom
Roberts.
Arnold.
Is he in that? Eric Roberts.
No, Eric Roberts is not in that one.
He's been in like 250 different things. Felissa Rose, though, too. She's getting up there with movies.
Yeah, and Felissa does a lot. She's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to tell you that, before I met her, so I did not actually meet her on the set of Macabre Mountain because we filmed at different times. So it was one of those things, we were in the movie together, but I didn't actually meet her until a few months later. And I thought, there's no way she is as nice and fun and cool as everybody says she is. There's just no way.
Yeah.
And she absolutely is. 100%. She is just the nicest, sweetest person. She's such a positive person to have on set.
She always has a long line, no matter how small the show is. Because the last show I went to was the horror sideshow market, I think it's called.
Yep. Yeah, like in December.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you were there.
I was there.
And she had a table next to Xander, who I was there helping, I guess, helping promote Crimson Harvest. And I had never met Felissa, even though I've seen her at autograph shows. And I think because she has long lines all the time. And I know Jeremy won. He's friends with her and also his girlfriend, Kristen. And we were supposed to be in Macabre Mountain. We were going to go to West Virginia, and there was some miscommunication with, we didn't want to get paid. We weren't asking or hotel room. And I think that was the miscommunication or something in there. And I didn't know Xander at that point either, but Jeremy did. Jeremy won. Yeah. So when I met Felissa, I got a picture with her and Xander, and but I was able to tell her that we were in a movie together because I had my picture in it's called Cruel Summer 3.
Okay.
I'm a psych patient. They're looking through files or papers, and there's my photo, and I use my real name, Rob
Nice,
Lilly.
nice.
And they start saying, that he looks confused. Or they were just improvising too, I was told. And but she's in that movie too. And my friend Scott Tepperman, he's making Cruel Summer 4. He's in Florida. And supposed to go down there. I'm not sure yet. But anyway.
Well, there's a guy, Rudy Ledbetter, who is in almost every one of these horror movies, and he's got his picture, or they say his name or something like that, and it's great because everybody in the industry knows who Rudy is.
Yeah.
Because he's got his
I
picture
think I've
in these
heard
things.
that. Yeah.
And
I think I saw a post on that or something.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen his posters, a wanted poster or a missing or something like that. And it's absolutely great. And he's a huge supporter of indie film. So so shout out to Rudy Ledbetter.
Yeah, there you go. So if you want to, if you're a musician, have like a new single, new album, you want to email us, you can email us at nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com. And everybody, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So we'll be back soon again. You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's show was produced by Rob J. Lilly and recorded live and unedited at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Intro and exit music by the band 99%.
This is ridiculous.